Who else didn't realize just how much they missed watching Caitlin Clark play basketball until she was gone? Well, she just came back with a bang. The Indiana Fever had been struggling with a 4-5 record, and this game was supposed to be their toughest yet, facing the undefeated New York Liberty, last year's WNBA champions, who came in 9-0. In their last matchup, the Fever suffered a crushing loss when Clark was clearly fouled on the final play, but got no whistle. This time, though, she didn't leave anything up to the officials. She took matters into her own hands and delivered what might be the greatest performance of her WNBA career in her highly anticipated comeback. From the jump, we had WNBA superstars all over the court, including Sabrina Ionescu, who opened the game with a smooth turnaround jumper after getting a switch onto Aaliyah Boston. Even though Clark had barely returned to the floor, New York's defensive strategy didn't change. Two defenders stepped up to stop her in transition, but Caitlin read it perfectly, splitting the defense with a no-look bounce pass to a cutting Kelsey Mitchell for Indiana's first points as Breanna Stewart got caught ball watching. People focus on New York stars, but role players matter. Kennedy Burke muscled through Clark and finished through contact for an old-school three-point play. Then Clark got on the scoreboard herself. Boston set a mean screen to force a mismatch with Burke, and Clark attacked it, beating the slower defender off the bounce and floating in her first bucket. Clark's emphasis on playing faster showed in actions. Breanna missed a deep three, and Clark snagged the board. Eyes up, immediately launching a full-court dime to Boston for a kitchen finish straight quarterback-to-receiver magic. But the Liberty pushed back. Sabrina found Stewart trailing on the break and punished Indiana for their lazy transition defense with a deep three. Then came a lesson in elite defense. Natasha Cloud, one of the W's best perimeter defenders, fought through a screen and deflected Clark's pass to force a turnover, leading to a Liberty bucket. With Clark on the bench, the Fever looked lost. Mitchell turned it over, and Sabrina found Stewart again, this time in the post, where she worked around three defenders and buried a tough fadeaway. Mitchell responded for Indiana with a hard drive past Sabrina, kissing it off the glass for two. One of Indiana's best off-season pickups, Sophie Cunningham, made her mark by reacting quickly to a miscue, stealing a pass intended for Ian and taking it coast-to-coast for a layup. But Stewart answered, catching it straight from the inbound and knocking down a tough jumper over Cunningham, reminding everyone why she's a two-time MVP and Olympic gold medalist. Down 9 with under 4 minutes left in the first, Clark checked back and that's when it got wild. She called for a one-on-one against Gardner, a defensive specialist, and put on a clinic. Hesitation, crossover, spin, and a banked finish through contact for the and won her first 3 points the old-school way. But then she caught fire. In under 30 seconds, Caitlin Clark hit 3 deep threes in a row on from way downtown while Cunningham was down behind the play, exploding for 9 straight points and sending the arena into chaos. The fieldhouse erupted, and suddenly the defending champs looked rattled. The quarter ended with a fast break layup by Stewart off a pass from Cloud. But thanks to Clark's outburst, Indiana only trailed by 2 after being down 11. Clark already had 14 points with 3 quarters to go. In the second, Clark gave it up to Colson, then popped back out for a wide-open 3 from the wing, giving Indiana their first lead. It didn't last long. Sabrina responded with a tough turnaround from the baseline. Clark kept creating off a handoff from Howard. She threaded a bounce pass to the rolling Natasha, who missed the floater, but Dantas cleaned it up for second-chance points. Even with Clark on the bench, the Fever kept rolling. Kelsey Mitchell caught Natasha cloud-napping and cut perfectly backdoor, finished through contact, and converted the end. Then came the most audacious shot of the night. Clark, now guarded by Breanna Stewart, a 6-time WNBA defensive team member, called for isolation, stepped back, and drained a deep 3 right in Stewie's face. Even Stewart, a legend who's seen everything in basketball, looked stunned. The Fever's offensive rhythm continued. Clark drew the defense inside, then kicked it out to Lexi Hull for a wide-open 3, a shot that's become automatic for her. Still, the Liberty wouldn't go down easily. Stewart and Sabrina ran a Gavongo finishing inside. New York moved the ball beautifully on the next possessions, winging it to Stewart, who ripped past Clark and banked it in over Boston. They once said Natasha Cloud was the Caitlin Clark stopper, but that narrative didn't age well. Clark, with no screen, attacked full speed, and to be continued. Breaks and knocks down the stop-and-pop long 2-point jumper. Caitlin Clark is scoring it well, and it's Showtime stuff from Indiana now. In the pick and roll, Clark goes behind the back to Aaliyah Boston, who spins on the roll and kicks it out to Lexi Hull, wide open in the corner, and you already know she's going to make that count, hitting her second triple of the game. It's raining threes in Indianapolis, and they're pouring down. Clark gets open off the ball and launches another 3 from the parking lot, and of course, she sinks it. I am officially speechless. That's her 6th 3 of the half. Caitlin Clark is back like she never left. She might be the WNBA's best shooter, But if Clark is Steph Curry, then Sabrina Ionescu is Dame Lillard. With 3 seconds to go in the half, and New York out of ideas, Sabrina just launches one from Clark range and drains it, cutting Indiana's lead to 3 after one of the wildest halves of basketball this season. Clark is on pace for a career high, with 25 points on 6 of 8 shooting from deep, along with 5 rebounds and 3 assists, while Sabrina leads the Liberty with 17, and Breanna Stewart adds 14 true superstar stuff. But if you thought the first half was crazy, the second half is even wilder. The third quarter starts, and it's all New York. Natasha Cloud gets things going offensively, stalling on the drive before hitting Clark with a nasty spin and finishing with the left. Then Sabrina curls off a screen, sees daylight, and attacks. For an easy layup, defensively, New York is locked, and Clark is blitzed off the Boston screen by Cloud and Sabally, forcing a turnover. Stewart slows it down, finds Sabrina, and the two play Gavondo, ending with a top-of-Oki jumper from Stewie. Automatic. Indiana trails by 6, but they can always count on Kelsey Mitchell, who blows by Sabrina, weaves through the paint, and finishes the N1 through Livet. Sparks the Feveralia. Boston blocks Sabuli, who then throws the ball right to Hull. Clark leads the break, draws a double, and finds Lexi for her third 3. Boston, quiet all game, finally makes noise in transition as Lexi finds her wide open under the basket for her first points. Boston then fakes left, drives right, and finishes strong. Indiana is cooking. Kelsey Mitchell steps into a pull-up 3 cash. Cloud kicks to Sabally, wide open in the corner airball. Boston rebounds, finds Clark, who goes coast to coast and finishes a soft scoop layup. It's now a 14-0 Indiana run. Stewart misses 2 at the line, and Caitlin Clark makes them pay. Boston hands it back to her, and Clark splashes another deep bomb. The fieldhouse erupts. Indiana is on a 17-0 run, up 11, and the Liberty are falling apart. Clark adds 2 more at the line, make it a 19-0 run. New York finally scores via a Burke free throw, and Stewart follows with an elite mid-range turnaround over Coulson, even with Clark on the bench. Indiana's offense keeps rolling. Kelson hits her second 3 of the season off a Hull assist. Then Dantas knocks down one from the top of the key. Sabrina responds with a tough runner, despite Sophie Cunningham's tight defense. Into the final 2 minutes of the third, Sabrina hits Johannes for a 3, and after some free throws, it's a 9-point game entering the fourth. Sabrina and Clark are going head-to-head, combining for 50 points. Stewart gets to the line to keep New York close. Then Johannes scores a baseline runner on Clark. Suddenly it's a 4-point game after a 14-2 Liberty run. Indiana needs a response, and Boston delivers. Out of a double team, she kicks to Coulson, who fakes to the corner, steps into a wide-open 3, and hits just her 6th career triple. Sabrina gets 2 free throws, but Mitchell answers. Her initial shot is off. But Boston battles 3 defenders for the rebound, kicks it out, and Mitchell drains a long 2. More free throws from Sabrina cut it to 3, but Boston goes back to work, fakes the handoff, bullies Sabally to the rim, scores, and gets the foul for a massive end. Then, she hands off to Mitchell, curling at the elbow pull-up jumper. Good. Same play, same result. Mitchell curls again, snatches Cloud, and drills a 3 over Stewart. Indiana is up 11 again. It's an 8-0 run. Final 3 minutes now. Clark returns, harassed by Sabrina, but stays poised and finds Hull sneaking behind Cloud for the backdoor layup. With just over 2 minutes left and the Fever up 12, Clark probes the defense, waits, then delivers a bounce pass to Mitchell wide open in the corner, and she drills the dagger 3. Indiana is up 15, and that's the ball game. Caitlin Clark, facing her idol Sabrina Ionescu, returns from injury with a statement. Indiana hands the undefeated Liberty their first loss of the season in a blowout. It was Indiana's first 100th game of the year, led by Clark's near triple-double, 32 points in 31 minutes, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists. Boston had a double-double. Mitchell scored 22, Hull added 14, and Coulson made timely plays. Sabrina dropped 34 and Stewart 24, but it wasn't enough. The Fever now sit at 5-5, with momentum on their side. If you love these Caitlin Clark game breakdowns, subscribe, like the video, and stay tuned because this WNBA season is just getting started. This is DKM signing out. Peace.